Dr. Herbert Diess is stepping down as the CEO of Volkswagen after being at the helm of the global automaker for only a handful of years. He became the group CEO in 2019 and was highly credited for accelerating Volkswagen's transition to electric vehicles. So, what exactly happened here, and what does this mean for the automotive industry in general? Today I'll be sharing my thoughts with you in this episode. Stay tuned and be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you're following the automotive industry updates, I'm sure you'll already be aware of the recent developments in the Volkswagen's family. Herbert Diess will be replaced by the current CEO of Porsche, Oliver Blume, on September 1st. The rationale for these changes was not formally disclosed. However, Bloomberg suggests the main reason could be severe software development delays. These significantly slowed the scheduled launches of new Audis, Bentleys and Porsches, including the new Porsche Macan, resulting in the delay of the Porsche IPO. This is huge. And I'll get back to this point in just a bit, but I can't believe it was the only reason. This year has been very difficult for many European car makers. The war between Russia and Ukraine has disrupted the supply chain. However, it looks like some competitors have been able to better navigate through this crisis. I'm mainly talking about Stellantis, which gained market share in these turbulent times. Another battlefield for Herbert Diess was the unions. Was it necessary to tell them that creating a new factory is easier than converting one? I don't think the unions necessarily disagreed with Herbert's electrification plans. However, being direct and vocal about thousands of jobs being cut was probably not the best strategy to make here. And perhaps the final blow was the rumor about his love affair. According to this tweet, Herbert Diess's direct report was pregnant by him and also somehow got promoted. The letter doesn't look like a novelty in the automotive executive world, of course. Still, my point is that most likely the decision by the powerful Porsche and Peach families to dismiss Herbert Diess was based on a combination of factors and not just driven by the software development delays. Nevertheless, in this episode, I will mainly focus on the software factor because I believe it's a bigger and more serious issue than we might have previously realized. But before we get there, please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so. This helps me be motivated to grow my channel. In the interview that I conducted with Alex Guberman just a few weeks ago, he was not shy about criticizing the issues and bugs of the Volkswagen software. The fact that Volkswagen was actually sponsoring his channel eFall Electric in 2021 only adds extra weight to his words in being able to highlight negatives in his sponsor's technology.
The things that I got really annoyed with is pretty much have to do with software. I mean, it sounds like Volkswagen either doesn't have software engineers and they just hire them on Fiverr on a daily basis, or they just hire really bad ones. Their app, even though they just redesigned it, is an embarrassment to all apps, not just car apps. This is really one of the most embarrassing apps that you will find in any store. The software in a car, not only it takes a Windows 95 type of timing to bring it up, it just can't make friends with Android Auto, which causes all kinds of problems. Their voice recognition is complete crap, though it's kind of on par with most other cars. So, and even though they have the over-the-air update technology, I haven't gotten one, and it's been over a year, and it really needs one.
My question here has to be, is this poor software quality unique to Volkswagen, or is it a broader issue the automotive industry is dealing with? During my career at Nissan in Japan, I reported to Ogi Redzik, SVP of Connected Vehicles and Mobility Services at the Renault-Nissan Alliance. When Augie left the company in 2018, I decided to take a closer look at what's happening when traditional car makers were going through a digital transformation and bringing in new talent from the tech world. My findings just reconfirmed my initial thoughts. No doubt that by looking at Tesla, car makers clearly identified a need to embrace digital technology and started hiring leaders from Google, Apple, Yahoo, Nokia and others. But what I learned back then, tech executives wouldn't stay long with car makers. Obviously, you won't find formal reasons for these departures, but in my view, it's a cultural clash. In the article I published as a follow-up to this study, I concluded that it's nearly impossible for legacy car makers to catch up with Tesla. And there are lots of reasons for that. As an example, traditional car makers follow lengthy development cycles and would require software teams to do the same. So instead of making regular development sprints and pushing software updates, they will be required to freeze development until the next cycle. They would also spend months arguing about the safety and security of the new software, delaying production. Another reason is the lack of talent and actual cultural differences. In Japan, for instance, young and successful software developers wouldn't accept a job offer to work 2 hours away from Tokyo and be guided by an old-school hardware engineer. As a result, hiring the best tech talent is not always an option for them, while companies such as Tesla, Lucid and Rivian were substantially more attractive and dynamic places to work in Silicon Valley for people of this ilk. So, let's connect the dots between the departure of Herbert Diess. As CEO, he was not able to solve software problems, but is it possible to do it all then? Does his successor, Oliver Blume, the current CEO of Porsche, have better chances, or is he facing an impossible goal? In my article, I tried to be more optimistic back then. I used Cruise, the tech company in San Francisco developing autonomous drive technology, as an example of a compromise solution that could be successful. General Motors and Honda are the shareholders, but Cruise is a standalone company with a high level of autonomy, not collocated with the R&D centers of GM and Honda. 3 years after my article was published, Cruise has been able to launch paid driverless services in San Francisco, ahead of its main competitors. Maybe it's a sign that this particular model can work, but maybe not. I wouldn't be optimistic this time that after Volkswagen CEO dismissal, miracles will start happening. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below, and see you next time.